Hey everyone, welcome to Engaging Students in Writing. And we get to do this with our third grade team, and we are excited to talk about how to make writing engaging from start to finish. So, a large part of our goal is to give you 3 strategies to walk away with, and maybe a bonus one if we have time. So, we're going to talk about color coding and sharing, and we're going to talk about an editing minute so that we can make writing really intentional and bring up some things that feel good for us and make writing purposeful for our learners.
Also, really quick, if you are with like a team in your room, put like the team members that are with you in the chat, because we'll do our raffle and make sure everybody's included.
Sorry, guys. My first time recording and just went a mess. Apologize. Yeah, we are going to be doing a raffle at the end, so feel free to drop things in the chat, like Shannon said, and we'll make sure that everybody gets put in there. The other thing we wanted to mention was the quick data collection. So some teams have already asked us for these, but we just wanted to remind you of 2 different options you can use for students, and it gives a quick way for us to look at our writing specifically, but any sort of data where you have the assignment at the top and then the students listed, and then you can make notes as you do any assignment. And we knew people before were doing this on lunch counts and just like write over the place and having different state notes. So this gives you one place to do it all the time. And then you can keep track of that over time. But it allows you to create small groups after you collect all that data and be really intentional about what you're looking for with students too.
So our first strategy is color coding, and this can be used in reading and writing to help kind of make that connection between the two. So in Unit 4, you can use highlighting or color coding to highlight the specific elements that students should be including in their own writing in the mentor text that you're introducing to them. You can also use this to help figure out like the graphic organizers and how you can transfer that into their writing. This helps support their comprehension and their planning. It can be used also during like editing or just editing and revising to make sure they're having phonics patterns spelled correctly in their writing, or looking for specific grammar concepts. And this helps it just be more meaningful and engaging for students. But we want to make sure that we're not using this throughout the year. We don't want to over scaffold. This is something that you might just use with specific writers needing this support, or the beginning of the year for the whole class, as opposed to it being a year-long activity. So in Benchmark, we took the narrative journal entry anchor chart, and then you can just use the exact same colors to kind of help support the colors that you would use in a mentor text and then in their own writing. This doesn't have to be just highlighting. You can use crayon markers, colored pencils, but something else that we thought of that might even be better to help with legibility of their writing is to use something like Seesaw or markup tools on after they take a photo to highlight the thing. So then it's not always in their writing, but they can do it on those 2 specific technology pieces to help make sure they have all parts.
Then we wanted to look at our writing outline from something that we sent out in our curriculum author updates. And this is just looking at Unit 3, but we've built it out for a couple of units ahead. And it's approved by the curriculum authors and Dr. Valter and us. So we've gone through and looked at how to make writing a little bit more flexible and give students a little bit more autonomy and purpose as they write, because we know that some people are using Benchmark as prescribed, which is totally fine. And some of us want to shift the writing to make it a little bit more purposeful. So when students are writing, it feels really intentional and applicable for them. So this is just a reminder to look at this outline and find different ways that the weeks can be tweaked to align with what you're doing. And we know that some teachers have already done really great things, and some mentor texts are used, and that might be something that you want to just let us know about so that we can add it to the list, because we know that fractured fairy tales have been really popular, and just engaging students in different ways so that it feels fun for them, but also makes the writing along the way week to week feel a little bit better, and the writing is actually happening each time that you are modeling text and not just over scaffolding for us. So our next strategy we're going to talk about is the editing minute, and this is something you can do in literally 1 minute. the wheel we have here is all of the things we've taken from the proficiency scale. And when we send you the slides, there's a link to this wheel specifically, but it has all the things in there. So all you would have to do is click the wheel, and then it would be you're focusing on commas today. So they're going to go back at the end of their writing daily to just take a minute and look over what they've already done to make intentional decisions and edits along the way, because we know that doesn't always happen just at the very end of a week or even like every couple of days, and you don't want it to always be you who's doing it with them because you may not have time to have conferences with students every single day. So it gives an opportunity for you to have 1 minute of time where you take a minute to pick something. There's another picture here of it on just a slide where you're having students look for something specific that you determined or like you either pre-taught it with them as in a mini lesson, or you're scaffolding it to align with them. And it could be a fun way to just use like fun markers or have them partner with somebody and look for something in their peer work so that it's, again, not just all leaning on you. But it creates a really good habit for students to learn and grow.
Our next strategy is making thinking visible through share time. So this is something that Benchmark doesn't always have built in daily, but this is something that you can put in practice daily with your students. So when they have a chance to share, kind of motivates them to work on the learning goal or take risks in their writing. And this is a perfect opportunity to use the document cameras to put their work on the board so that everybody can see. This is also important for like teaching them how to ask for feedback or to receive feedback. So there's different strategies like the tag where they tell, ask, or give, and then an author's chair where they learn to like ask for the type of feedback that they might want. Specifically, like I would like a compliment or I would like a suggestion. You can do these activities with the whole class, or you can have them work in partners, whatever kind of works best for your lesson that day. So these are all strategies that, like, if you're interested in incorporating into your lessons or with your class, you can partner with the coach, and we would love to come in and support you with that.
Yeah.
So these are the parts of the MOI that we focused on today, using assessments in formal and formal. We reviewed those using strategies that appear in all types of lessons, and then engagement strategies to help engage your writers.
So thanks so much for coming. We have one bonus tip we have for you. These are two of our giveaways. We're going to have a nice shirt designed by our very own Molly DeClue. So we're going to put you in a raffle for that. And then these great little dialogue sticky notes, and they're pretty big so that we can give those out to 2 winners. So we'll have 3 people total who we're going to pick and put in the wheel of names to decide who is going to get it. So thanks for letting us know who's in the room with you. Our bonus one that we're talking about is dialogue, because we know this is one of the hardest things for students to be able to really tackle. And something that we talked to Dr. Valter about was just how to engage them with using graphic novels, because many kids like graphic novels, but a way that you can introduce them to dialogue is either reading aloud a text or having them just have pictures and create dialogue, and find the differences between when they're just narrating the story and when people are actually talking, to help them know what actually goes in quotation marks. So the quotation marks are only things that they're actually saying to each other versus putting everything in quotation marks. And we know that when students go back to edit, sometimes they just put punctuation everywhere, or they put quotation marks around everything, and that's not how it works. So reframing it for them to think about this with dialogue can be helpful. And it's something that Shannon and I are happy to come and model for you guys. So thanks so much for your time today. And if you don't have any questions, you're welcome to hop off. And if you have questions, feel free to stay on.